Now, they are hunter-killers and they're looking for new homes. Asian hornets, blown in from the continent, attack and kill other insects, posing a major threat to our bee population.
But what do we know about them? Let's take you through some of the details. Asian hornets came to France in around 2004 after arriving in a container of pottery from China. It's what they think. They then made their way to the UK, with the first sighting recorded in 2016.
Since then, there have been 23 confirmed sightings. The first was in Gloucestershire, the most recent in Essex.
The hornets pose a major threat to the native honeybee, but they look distinctly different. They're also bigger and much darker in colour than our native wasps.
Now, this year, volunteer search teams in Jersey found 160 hornet nests, and they fear there are many more.
My name is Dominic. I'm a Belgian Asian hornet volunteer, and I'm here in Jersey to help the Jersey Asian hornet group to search the nests. I've just catched the hornet, and I can show how we mark them. First, she has to be put in this cylinder. Then we take a marker pen and we give her a color on the thorax. And then after releasing, we can start timing them. We look at the flight direction, and then we look how long they stay away. If, for instance, this hornet over here, she leaves and she is back in 4 minutes 30 seconds, then I know the nest is about 450 meters away from where we are standing over here.
So these are the Asian hornets that we vacuumed at the Jens Tour at September Park. This one here has a green mark on it, and this is one of the ones that's led our volunteer to the nest. My name is John de Carteret. I'm a retired police forensic officer, and I'm a beekeeper. This is the time of year when each nest will produce several hundred new queens that will be mated and then fly off and hibernate in the area. We regularly use the figure of 200 per nest. 5 of those will actually go on and produce a mature nest lot next year, but even at a factor of 5, it means that year on year the numbers of nests can build up very quickly. By taking out 1 nest this year, we're preventing potentially 5 next year. It's not just a case of killing hornets, we want to learn from them. So a dead hornet is just a dead hornet, but the live ones can tell us where the nests are. We have to accept now the last couple of years that we probably have a small resident population. However, because of the high figures in France, and we know that they are quite capable of flying across, even if we had eradicated them in the island, because we will get another influx for each spring, that's going to be an ongoing problem for us.
The situation is what I thought it would be. A lot more queens survive the winter, so there must be a lot more nests. There are a lot of queens that flew over, brought from here from France to Jersey in March, April with easterly winds. So we know there are a lot more nests. In Flanders, normally our numbers go up every time multiplied with 2. This year our numbers are multiplied with 4. So it's the same situation in Jersey. So I was here since last Saturday, just like last year. I stayed 1 week. In 10 days I found 10 nests. It was a good week for me to stay over here.
Well, Anne Rowbury is president of the British Beekeepers Association, and she joins us from the National Honey Show in Surrey. That's where I'd like to be this morning. It looks absolutely magnificent. But I guess a lot of the talk there will be about the threat from these Asian hornets. How worried should beekeepers be at the moment, Anne?
I think we need to be very worried because, as we've seen, they've come in through France, they've gone to Portugal, Spain. People are killed by them. People with sort of beekeepers that have their businesses devastated by these honeybees. They can cut their honey production down to 1/3, or they can lose all their colonies. It's very, very serious. But the good news is that we are actually managing to keep them at bay at the moment. We had, I think, 4 incursions this year that were investigated, and the British beekeepers have set up a number of teams all over the country. There's about 87 teams who have sub-teams of 6 people in each. They put out traps and they monitor all over the country to make sure that there are no hornets in that area.
Yeah.
And if we do see a hornet,
Amazing work being done by beekeepers all around the country. But can I just pick you up on,
Absolutely.
you said that they kill people. I understood that the sting of an Asian hornet actually is not much more harmful than the sting of a normal wasp.
Well, possibly not if there was only one of them. But unfortunately, there's quite often, if people get too close to a nest, they're extremely defensive. If they actually cut a nest when they're cutting a hedge, or they bang into a nest, throw a football into a nest, they will come out. You know, you'll get 100 coming out at you. You'll get a lot of stings and people die. People can have anaphylactic shock and die just as they can from bees and wasps. But when hornets are
Oh, I'm so sorry. We seem to have lost Anna there. Let's just see if we're going to get that back, do you think? Or is it gone away? I mean, it's really interesting what she was saying there. I mean, there's two elements to this, really, isn't there? The one is in relation to bees and then the risk they pose to the bee population. But as you heard there, clearly they are not pleasant to be stung by, and there's real concern about that as well. But the major issue for those who make honey, of course, is just how much of a problem it is to create the honey and the other thing population of bees.
Yeah, and the other thing is bees provide such a valuable service in terms of pollination. So there is actually a financial impact if Asian hornets come and take over bee populations in this country. So it is genuinely an area of real concern for them. They say if someone sees it, you should contact your local beekeeper association, basically, and they will then locate the nest and go and sort it out for you. So it's worth keeping an eye out for them.
What we didn't get to with Anne,
was the baseball bat.
It was because there were some notes made about this. Anne, I think in our notes it suggested she had in previous times used a baseball bat to deal with an Asian hornet. We didn't get as far as that, so I'm not sure quite what the story is.
We were quite curious, though, to get the story of the baseball bat and the hornets.
We'll
but
never
as
know.
Charlie said, not necessarily recommended, although we might be able to ask her right now. I think she's back.
Yes.
Anne, are you back with us?
I am. Yes, I am, yes.
Very, very nice to see you
hang
once
on.
again. Can you talk to us about how you once dealt with an Asian hornet with a baseball bat?
No, with a badminton racket.
Oh, OK.
Basically, that's what one of the beekeepers where I was a couple of weeks ago in Spain had a heap of broken badminton rackets, because what they do is stand near their hive, whack the hornet with a badminton racket very hard, knock it to the ground, step on it. And amazingly, they don't behave like wasps. They don't turn around and go for you if you miss. They're only interested in getting in your colony. And she was catching 200 or so within an hour, hour and a half. It was absolutely devastating. And she said she'd lost at least 2/3 of her honey production from her hives. Poor little bees can only come out in the evenings or the mornings. And on bad days, she's, when the bees aren't coming out at all, she's actually having to feed the bees to keep them alive.
And can you just tell us a little bit more about how individual beekeepers, and you were saying about a colleague in Spain, I think it was, with the badminton racket. How do individuals here try and protect from the Asian hornets?
Yeah. Well, we can set up these sort of little electric harps that will kill the hornets as they fly into them. The bees can learn to fly through the wires. And the other way you can actually protect them, small entrances and strong colonies will keep them at bay for a while, but our best protection is getting all the public, everyone, looking for these black insects, just a bit bigger than a wasp, with a yellow band near their tail and yellow legs. And if we can spot them, we can track them back to their nest, destroy the nest, and take the threat out. And this time of year, when the leaves are coming off the trees, a great time to look for nests.
Anne, it's been lovely chatting to you. I'm glad we got you back in. Thank you very much. Lovely to speak to you this morning.
It's OK, I'm sorry I couldn't hear some of the questions.
No, you're fine. We could hear you perfectly. Anne, thank you very much.
OK, thanks.
So that's Anne Robury, who's president of the British Beekeepers Association.
I, for one, am very glad that Anne is our first line of defence against the Asian hornets.
And how ridiculous that you thought you could handle an Asian hornet with a baseball bat.
You told me that.
I mean,
you actually told me
very
that.
obviously.
Baseball bat, badminton racket.
Badminton racket.